Welcome to Conversations with your host, Ron Bryant, who will engage in lively and informative dialogue with politicians, leaders, visiting celebrities, and individuals making a difference in the community fabric of Central Ohio.
On this edition of Conversations, I'll be talking to Gene Smith, Vice President and Director of Athletics for The Ohio State University. During his tenure as OSU's 8th leader in the athletic department, Gene has taken OSU athletic programs all the way to the White House. We spoke about a number of things during this conversation.
Gene, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I understand that you don't talk to a whole lot of folks, let them up in the palace. So, I'm truly thankful for this conversation.
Well, thank you, Ron. Doing good, man. I'm blessed every single day.
Yeah, what's going on in your world? Talk about it.
Well, probably the thing that we're most excited about, we were in Indianapolis yesterday making our final pitch to possibly host the Women's Final Four here in Columbus.
Yes.
And we had a team of 8 people, and we went over on whatever night it was, Tuesday night, and we had our pitch yesterday afternoon, and so we're pretty excited about our performance. We just hope it gives us the results we want. We'll know next Monday night, hopefully, so that's huge. And then obviously our football team is doing well, and they have a big game this weekend up at Minnesota in the frozen tundra.
Yeah,
Gonna be a little chilly.
Yeah, I just saw them sweeping out and shoveling out the stadium.
Already, it's November, man.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting. But getting back to this Final Four thing, we've got the experience because we've done a couple Sweet 16.
That's right.
And I've really enjoyed those. And coming to see Tubby Smith lose.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we it's kind of our mantra here, working with the Columbus Sports Commission to try and bid on as many NCAA events as we can. And so actually next year we have the second and third round of the men's NCAA tournament. And so this event, the Women's Final Four, is kind of unique for us. It kind of fits. So hopefully we can get it.
Well, that's big for Columbus. How is it working with the Sports Commission? I know you guys are, on the same page, but, a Sports Commission in Columbus with one real professional team. I like the Clippers too.
No doubt. No, it's great. I'm on the board, and they have the same mission that we have, which is to make sure whatever events we bring, the participants have a quality experience. And but the ability to attract a lot of events here, be it volleyball or to work with Jim Larimore on growing the Arnold Classic or those type of things. And we just have so many events we bring here, and they're part of every single NCAA event we go after. They're part of that bid process. So it's great working with them. They're fun and great planners and the ability to draw upon great volunteers. And so it's a good marriage.
It's making Columbus great as well.
Yeah, it is.
What makes you bristle? When you hear, someone told me when I first moved down here in '84 that Ohio State is Columbus's pro football entity.
That's true.
Does that make?
That's true.
Okay, well, it doesn't make you. What makes you bristle then?
Probably the misconceptions around our student athletes. A lot of people have old school views of the student athlete, and that stuff makes me bristle. We have some kids that are just really special, and we'll have a couple that'll go off the reservation. We got a little less than 1,000, I think this year. We're at 977, but every now and then you have one of those young puppies go off the reservation, and then people generalize that they're all that way, and they're not. And that kind of gets me to bristle a little bit, but there's not a whole lot at my age. I haven't been through the wars I've been through that gets me rattled that much anymore.
Now, are we still at 36 varsity sports?
Yeah, we're 36, close to 1,000. Yeah, we're the largest among all FBS schools, football both subdivision schools, and Stanford's behind us at 35, and then the average hangs around 28. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we have rifle and pistol and synchronized swimming, and I always try and make sure we don't mess with the pistol team because they carry guns. And but those are highly competitive young people, and aspire to be champions, and many of our kids aspire to represent us in Rio when the Olympics come around. So it's pretty cool.
Your pedigree.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
You came here, you had done a lot already.
Yeah.
The NCAA Management Council, the Committee on Infractions, the Rose Bowl Management Committee, 2013 Organizational Leadership Award from the National Association of Athletics Compliance. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been blessed, bro. I've been really blessed. Yeah.
Talking about compliance, I know that's big on your plate.
Huge, huge. And we've gotten better over the years. And as you said, as we talked about earlier, we're kind of the pro team in this environment. So everyone wants to be close to our student athletes. And of course, our football and basketball teams are at the top of that pyramid. So we need to make sure we help educate our student athletes about the do's and don'ts, but also kind of sometimes put firewalls up around them to help protect them for people who are trying to take advantage of them. And we've had our cases. We had a case here a few years ago with the NCAA. We had a case here in basketball with Jim O'Brien. And so for a place this size and of this magnitude and young people who are so impressionable at 17, 18 years old, we need to help educate them, to help make sure we protect them against others. And so we've gotten so much better at it. And the things that we've implemented, I think, is why I received our award, which is not my award, it's our department's award. And so I think the things we implemented gave us that recognition.
More than 1 million Americans are living with HIV, but nearly 2/3 do not get the care they need to stay healthy. And transmissions from those not getting care account for 9 in 10 new HIV infections. Diagnosis and care can improve the lives of people with HIV and reduce the likelihood of transmitting the virus to others. 100 people who don't know they have HIV transmit the virus to nearly 7 new people each year. But that rate drops rapidly as people go through care. Every year, 100 people who have HIV under control through medication infect less than 1. But today, just 30% have the virus under control, and 50,000 people become newly infected each year. Improving the health of people living with HIV today could prevent the vast majority of new infections tomorrow.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
When they start talking about paying athletes
right.
and utilizing their images to make money for the university, how do you handle that conversation? Because I've heard, some of the sound bites, from local media, the ESPN stuff, but, now that you've had an opportunity to even consider it more, where are your thoughts on that?
I've never been a proponent of paying athletes, giving them a paycheck and turning it into an employer-employee relationship. I've always been a proponent and a strong fighter to help try and find ways to provide our student athletes with more resources.
Yeah.
So the one that's talked about the most is our scholarship model. It's been in place for 4 decades. It's room, board, books, and tuition, direct costs to go to school. Where there's things beyond that, miscellaneous costs called cost of attendance, the things that aren't in that scholarship model that you incur as costs when you come here. That may be you travel home twice a year maybe for holidays, clothing, miscellaneous food things that we don't provide, entertainment, just to go out on a date. I mean, all those type of things aren't in that scholarship model. So I've been fighting to change the scholarship model to take it to cost of attendance. It allows our student athletes to have more money in their pocket to be able to do things. Huge proponent of covering expenses for them that we historically haven't been able to cover. helping their families travel to an away game.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, different things of that nature. So, you know, the challenges that many of our student athletes have who come from environments, low socioeconomic environments, are more about those things as opposed to, hey, here's a check. Now, we could obviously move to a model where we allow them to monetize their likeness. Now, keep in mind, when they come here, they don't have that.
Right. But they acquire.
They acquired over time with the investments that we make to help them get to that level.
And elevate.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how do we teach them how to take advantage of that, to take that personal brand to the next level? I'm not opposed to creating a model to try and help them monetize that with a structure.
That's the first I've heard that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. So if you think about it and taking it to our College of Business, and let's imagine you are a junior now and you have a likeness that is valuable to someone, as opposed to just letting you go out on the street trying to sell it. Let's talk about how we educate you in a program with your parents to make sure you are able to monetize it the right way. But take that money, put it in a trust fund, and when you graduate, you get it.
There you go.
And then
there you go.
You have to cap it. I mean, if you don't cap it, then the student may lose their balance between class, practice, all the things they're really here for. So you have to cap it and keep it in perspective and help the family grow that. So I've said publicly before, I'm not opposed to that. Now the challenge with that is if you're in Columbus or you're UCLA or USC in LA, you're all good for that. But if you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, where there's not a whole lot of businesses, you got issues. So that level playing field comes into the debate. And so anyway, I'm not sure where that's going to go.
Excellent
but
we can make it.
We can make it work. We can make it work.
Now, when you hear about the North Carolinas and the recent controversy with the class situation, and it seems to be systemic, having gone on for multiple years.
Yeah, amazing.
What do you say to that?
It's sad. First of all, think about those young people who were taken advantage of. You know, when we bring them into our environment, we have a responsibility to make sure that they grow from an education point of view. You know, I wasn't the greatest student. You know, I wasn't a 3.0 student, you know, but I learned a lot when I was in school. And I don't want our student athletes cheated. If you come in and you may have a deficiency in a particular area, you might not be strong in math, it's incumbent upon us to make sure we figure out what that deficiency is and make sure you strengthen it.
Yes.
So our responsibility is to make sure we educate our students. So I feel bad for them. Then the other thing I really struggle with is the years. Over that amount of time that someone didn't see that. That's amazing to me. Yeah. So actually what we did, you know, we had a meeting already with our people and made sure that we had good certification processes and checks and balances with our tutors. You talk about friendly faculty. You know, make sure that we don't have student athletes clustering in one class because it's NA. I teach a class they probably would all want to be in my class with, but I make it tough.
Audit that myself.
Exactly.
Just to check it out.
So you got to watch for friendly faculty.
Fundraising. You were just saying when you came in, you're out begging for money. You know,
constantly.
You're in the development side too.
Yeah.
But you guys can't be hurting. I mean, you know, every time you get close to the national championship, I mean, you got probably a wonderful television. As a matter of fact, I got a question about that. But when you talk about fundraising, you know, what are some of the things that you deal with?
Oh, I just love it. You know, I really do. We have a needs list of things that we want to put in place for our student athletes. It could be facilities. Oh yeah, we do. You know, it could be facilities, or it could be a program. We're starting a leadership program next year, actually, for our student athletes, and a great philanthropist, Iris Wolfstein in Cleveland, Ohio, just provided us $1 million over 5 years to get that going for our student athletes. So, but anyway, we still have needs, and we just opened up our indoor golf facility. That was about a $7 million deal, and so. We were. So we really spend time. And this is what I love about it. We find people who have passion about a particular interest. We have a number of people who sponsor scholarships, who endow scholarships because they understand the value of that. We have people who want to give the facilities, and because they understand that our practice place is our classroom.
Yes.
So when our golfers go to that facility in the wintertime, that's their classroom. That's how they get better. That's how our women's golf team ended up number 7 in the country last year, because they had a place to go and practice. So all of our sports are that way, and when you have 36 of them, you have a lot of facility needs. So I love fundraising. It's fun.
Since the Affordable Care Act was signed into law in 2010, 28 states plus D.C. have expanded Medicaid, and millions have gained coverage through Medicaid or CHIP. Millions of young adults have gained coverage through their parents' plan. Americans saved $9 billion because insurance companies must spend at least 80 cents of every premium dollar on health care. 9.4 million seniors and people with disabilities saved more than $15 billion on prescription drugs. Nearly $1,600 per beneficiary. Nearly 11.7 million Americans are signed up for coverage through the health insurance marketplace. The ACA has helped achieve an historic reduction in the uninsured. To date, 16.4 million uninsured people have gained health care coverage. The Affordable Care Act. 5 years of providing access to affordable, quality health coverage.
Switching gears a little bit, The Ohio State has multiple icons.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
I am from Youngstown, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You're a Cleveland guy.
Yeah, that's right.
And I used to watch those guys, you know.
Oh, man.
And I came out with Alan Horniak.
Oh, yeah,
and I thought
sure.
I was pretty sweet. And he sat the bench.
Amazing, isn't it?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
He sat the bench. You know, when it comes to that, the Archie Griffins, the Hopalong Cassidys, Jack Nicklaus, those icons,
man,
I know you value those as well.
I really do. I put them on a pedestal, you know, Clark Kellogg.
Anytime
those guys are around and we have a way to engage them with our student athletes, I do exactly what I just said. I want to put them on a pedestal and help our student athletes be inspired by those people. This is who you should become. This is how you can become that. And we're blessed. Eddie George, Jessica Davenport in basketball was so dominant here. Katie Smith's retired. She's back here. They're everywhere. Yeah, she's back here. She's on the Columbus Sports Commission with me. You hit on it. We're fortunate. I just sat with Greg Oden this morning, who is now retired, wants to go back to school, and he's going through a court case. And when that's done, I asked him if he would be willing to come back and speak to our student athletes, and he said, in a minute, because he went through an interesting time frame. And so his lessons learned when he was at the top, the #1 draft pick, and what has happened, phenomenal for our kids.
What is your vision for the Ohio State and the athletic program are in association with? What is your vision?
You know, we right now, well, we're one of the premier athletic programs in the country. I want to be the premier athletic program in the country. We are already revered in a number of different ways, but we want to be the program that people want to emulate. We want our academic numbers to continue on an upward trajectory. We were at 62% graduation rate in 2006, and now we're north of 85%.
Excellent.
And so we want to keep that on that trajectory. We want to have model programs for our student athletes that other people want to put in place. We have a Bucks Go Pro internship program.
Bucks Go Pro.
Bucks Go Pro,
Yeah.
where we create internships for student athletes so they can understand what it means to actually go to work every day. And a study abroad program where we fund student athletes to go study abroad in the Maymester. The Leadership Academy that we're starting up, the unbelievable community service that our student athletes do. Beyond the winning, those are the things that help the individual athlete build that personal brand we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
That's what we want to do, because less than 1% of them are going to go pro in their sport. Less than 1% are going to actually represent us in the Olympics. So the reality is they got to go get a job in this world, just like you and I. Right. And so we need to help them transition that way. And athletics is probably the last great incubator where we can take a young person and surround them with multitudes of adults that help them grow. An athletic trainer, a strength coach, a coach, an athletic administrator, a nutritionist, a sports psychologist, all those people. I wish I had a nutritionist in college.
I was thinking
that
about
fried
that.
chicken.
Have you checked out LeBron?
Oh yeah, no, look at him.
That diet.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But I realized, because I tried it for a week.
Yeah, did you?
And, I'm working back toward it, but what occurred was I realized that I need a nutritionist.
Yeah, you do. You have
I need
to.
someone preparing my meals.
Right, exactly.
Because I will go in the kitchen and it's all over.
Right. No, he had a person doing that for him.
He had somebody working.
Yeah, he can afford to do that.
That is so amazing.
But that's what we teach our athletes. I remember seeing on Twitter, Joey Bosa, no, it's Jeff Howerman was mentioning that his favorite foods that he likes to cook, and they're all nutritional based. There's foods that I never would have cooked when I was in school. So that's what we do. We have this ability to have impact on young people's lives. We have, let me see this up, because we're 9 fathers in our program. And so we have a program.
Now these are
student athletes.
Student athletes,
yeah.
Fathers.
These are student athletes, 9 guys who are fathers. Who are fathers. They have 1, 2, or one has 3 kids.
Okay.
And so what we do is we teach them how to be fathers. So we have a program where we teach them how to be fathers. We have a program where we teach them how to be in relationship with the mother of your child, because none of them are married. Okay, so we send them through that process, but we also do what we have what we call a student opportunity fund, where we can fund them financial support to help take care of their child.
I can relate to that. I was a single parent. My son is 32 now in Atlanta.
There you go.
Yeah, so I know the trials and tribulations.
Right.
From
so you
0
probably
to 16.
survived it on your own. Here, we're surrounding them with so many educational opportunities, and what drove me to it was I remember Kenny Guyton came to one of our meetings, and he had his little son with him, and he didn't have a baby bag. It was an hour presentation.
Need that baby bag.
I said, Kenny, where's your baby bag? And he said, oh, I'm only going to be here for an hour.
No, you need
it just hit me then that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a number of programs, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to put in place the things that people say, you know what, that's the place to be.
That is just stupendous. In closing, just some words of wisdom to those athletes that may be considering coming to Ohio State, and not necessarily scholarship, but possibly walk on, but those words of wisdom, throw some gems on them.
You know, life is about relationships, and I don't care where you go in life, you're going to engage people. And one of the greatest things about athletics is you're going to always be around people from all walks of life. So when you leave higher education and you go into an interview setting, they're going to ask you, can you work with people from all walks of life? And you would have gone through that experience. So if you're involved in athletics, make sure you pay attention to the lessons learned as you go through the process, and overcoming adversity, time management, communication skills, all those things, great lessons learned in athletics. And here at The Ohio State University, that's what we focus on, beyond winning, because we do like to win.
Love to win.
Love to win.
You're a winner.
All right, my man. Thank you.
Curtis Mayfield right now. Thanks
That's
so
right.
much. Really
Thank you. Thank you.
this.
Appreciate it, Ron. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.